Annyeong, everyone. How are you? I have a very serious topic to talk to you about today, so let's just get started and dive right into living with the coronavirus. So, alright, before I begin, I just want to let you know that I did do some digging, I did do some research, I've gathered and collected a lot of information from whether it's the government, from other people's perspectives, and from just general news and broadcasting stations. I have just some ideas, information, and opinions that I want to share about the coronavirus. And one thing I want to say for sure is to just take my words however you want to take them. I'm not claiming that I'm the most 100% reliable source out there, although I am a reporter. But yes, I just want you to know that what I'm telling you is just my experiences, what I've witnessed, my opinions, and overall a general collection of the news that is out there regarding the virus, okay? You're all probably wondering, or you already know, I hope you already know, how coronavirus started and how it started in Korea initially, because coronavirus was found in Wuhan, China. It originated from there and started spreading around the country, and it started just spreading all over Asia, and it even made its way to like European countries, Northern America, now even Africa. Like, it's just not bad. It's spreading really crazy. It's just a typical common flu strand, but it's something to worry about because it is becoming a pandemic and it is killing people like rapidly. I know what people are saying, like thousands of people die each year from the flu, and I understand that, I get that, I respect that, but this is just a virus that currently has like no cure. Like, there is not one. Like, people have been cured and recovered, but they also like catch it again. It's a pandemic. It's a pandemic. I'm gonna say my thoughts right there. I don't have to fight y'all. Find me in the comments. It's a pandemic. I have some notes right here on my bills because I'm a grown-up. I got the trusted information from Corona Live or coronalive.com. Currently, there are it's a lot. There are 105,379 suspected cases, then 4,212 confirmed cases of coronavirus spread from Korean people, and now there are 26 deaths in total, with 2 new cases just arising in Daegu. A lot of math and a lot of numbers, and it's scary. And of course, Korea had a lot of fear, expecting that it could come to our country. And even Japan and other neighboring Asian countries had this fear too. Japan had that messed up ferry ordeal where it brought over the virus and infected a lot of people. And at one point, Korea was just kind of sitting in the corner saying like, wow, that's pretty stupid. Good thing things like that don't happen to us. But Korea never closed their borders, and then I feel like that's the major part of how this problem occurred. The main way that the coronavirus had spread was from the super spreader, as we call her. She's also referred to as Patient 31, and it is a horrible, nasty, annoying,
self-centered, selfish,
61-year-old Ajima
who should honestly she should be given the death penalty. But however, this 61-year-old lady had somehow contracted the virus, and then she went to her Shincheonji church gathering, and Shincheonji is a giant, like, mega-cult church. That is just for another video, but there's a lot about it. Maybe I'll leave some links below. But yeah, she went to her Shincheonji church, and the Shincheonji church is kind of crazy. And the people that were gathering there all got infected, and then the people who got infected refused to go get tested or be seen or receive any medical help, and then the old lady who was infecting everyone refused to go to quarantine, refused to get tested, and kept trying to hide and self-quarantine herself. But she still was traveling around Daegu. She went to like normal places, shopping, she even went to the church, and she got thousands of people infected. Now, I was also at the time in Daegu, and literally that I was in Daegu from like Thursday until Saturday. The church gathering happened on a Sunday, and then the whole news of the virus outbreak happened on a Wednesday. So I was there, y'all. I was there when this lady was running amok, spreading the coronavirus, and that is why I had to go on quarantine myself. I had to miss work. I also had to go through like some infrared scanning and even go to the doctors and get tested. I had to do a lot of stuff, and I will explain that. You can also see my Daegu tour in a separate video, which is obviously fun and lighthearted because I was not anticipating to be in the middle of an outbreak or any of that to happen. Daegu had become severely infected, and now it was being quarantined and blocked off. Travel bans are being created. It's a very scary time in Korea. We know that it is like a common flu and cold. It affects the body and the lungs and respiratory system. But for many people with compromised immune systems, it's a highly dangerous thing, and especially if you're young or old. Even yesterday, it was announced in the news that a baby had contracted the coronavirus in Korea. That means that baby could possibly die, and it's intense. It's just going to show that the coronavirus doesn't wait on nobody, and it's attacking everybody it comes in contact with. So we need to be careful, and we need to be safe. I mean, every day we're wearing these masks, and I know what y'all saying, like, masks don't help. That's not gonna stop you from anything. But let me just get something straight. Did you know that the strand of the virus is so big that it can live on metal surfaces for 12 to 14 hours? And did you know that the strand of the virus is so big that masks are actually capable of preventing it from spreading on your body, but only masks with like a certain material and quality type? So. And did you know that the virus strand is so big that when you sneeze, and it spreads the common 3 meters, which is roughly about 10 feet. The virus is in that moment airborne. Now, this goes without saying, this is for many sicknesses and viruses and illnesses, true. But I'm just letting you know how easily spread this virus can be. And that's why,
Jesus Christ,
washing your hands is so important. People in general take a lot of disregards to washing their hands. Like, I've just been to places where I've seen people not washing their hands. Granted, I'm from New York, and New York be really dirty like that, but I mean, Korea, honestly, y'all seem super hygienic, but sometimes y'all know better. I've just seen people going to pee not washing their hands. I'm hoping in restaurants they wash their hands. I see people just going throughout the day, not really considering about cleaning their hands. And I have friends who work in schools and places where kids use the bathroom and they do not wash their hands. And they quote unquote say things like, well, I only peed, why do I need to wash my hands? Or, oh, I didn't touch the pee, why do I need to wash my hands? So if this kind of mindset is just going on anywhere in the world, it needs to be curbed. I'm not pointing fingers at Koreans, I'm pointing fingers at anybody who thinks like this or acts like this. Wash your goddamn hands.
You're nasty.
And I personally would wash my hands before I even went to the bathroom and try to touch my private parts because those are valuable parts. Can you hear that honking outside? Maybe it's the mass chaos. Is it the pandemic starting? Oh my god. This is why I keep saying a zombie apocalypse is so possible, because the way that people are just so stupid, how the news spreads ridiculously. Yeah, for people that are saying, oh, why don't I just go back home or return to America? It's not possible. I cannot go back home. And at one point I could have, but if I did, it would have been really risky. Like, first of all, I would be in a condensed space surrounded by people who might be sick or people who are trying to escape from either China or Korea and getting me sick. So that was just a big no. Then, if I travel there, I probably would not be able to come back. Like, right now there's the travel ban in Korea. How would I get back to Korea? How would I get back in my home? How would I be able to work and make my living and make more videos? Like, it would just be impossible and be really bad. So I decided to stay home. I did not leave the country for all good reasons. And I even had to cancel my trip to Japan because currently, like this week, I should have been in Japan right now. Daegu has been highly infected. It's a major quarantine area. No one is really going in and out of Daegu. There's constant sterilization going on there. It's just really crazy. I don't know how people are really normally functioning in their daily lives in Daegu right now. I have some friends that live there, and a lot of them are saying that a lot of events are canceled. The SBS Super Concert was canceled. I was supposed to go there and film and do coverage, y'all, and see BTS and Red Velvet and even Zico, and now I can't. I'm just so upset. But anyways, I'd rather be healthy without the virus than dying in a crowd of K-pop. I don't know, actually, that's kind of hard to say. People leaving from Daegu to Seoul started bringing the virus to Seoul, then to Incheon, and to other major cities and places. The reason why Korea was having so many troubles is because they refused to close their borders. Now, this is a very major and big political issue as of right now because Korea makes most of its money through tourism, marketing, pop culture, and K-pop. Through tourism, a lot of Chinese people and other Asian countries come here, they visit Korea, they live in the razzle-dazzle life of what they see in dramas, and that makes Korea a big ton of money. And President Moon understood that and has highly focused on the power of China and what it can do for Korea. However, they refused to close their borders, and President Moon did nothing to stop Chinese people from traveling back and forth from Korea. And other countries immediately knew to just close off their borders. Like, they stopped all travel from Asian countries in general. But since Korea was still so open, I feel like that is a major reason why the coronavirus had spread into our country. I don't know how the super spreader got it, but hey, if you have Chinese people coming back and forth from the country and Wuhan is only like an hour away from us, what do you expect? So because of that, now even people are protesting and they want Chinese people to leave Korea. They don't want Chinese people to even be allowed near or coming into Korea. They have been like putting up signs telling Chinese people to just leave and go home. They don't belong in our country, just like the coronavirus. And then there's even people protesting because they want to impeach President Moon for his lack of care for Korean citizens. Now, I've seen a lot of articles and people stating their opinions about how the Korean government and the health system is really taking care of Korean citizens and all the people who live there. I agree. At the same time, we got people who are hating on President Moon because he thought of money first and he acted just as selfish and kept Korea open so they can continue getting tourism. But now, because of the huge virus outbreak, the economy is suffering even more. Instead of losing maybe like, what, 1/4 of economic value due to like closing borders and stopping tourism and trade, now Korea is taking the biggest blow possible and about half of our economy is suffering. Small businesses are suffering, tourism agencies are suffering, like street markets and street vendors are suffering, airlines are suffering, and even stores and restaurants around my town are shutting down due to the virus. Some are even just taking breaks because of the virus, and schools have even delayed. Like, usually schools start like in the first week of March. Nuh-uh. They're literally experiencing like a 2-week delay. Like, so much is happening to the economy and the education system and even in the entertainment world. Right now, is there a real way to fix Korea's economy? I don't really know. Am I still making money? Gratefully, yes. Thanks to like my visa and my contracts, I make some sort of money, and due to all the freelance work that I do in and outside of Korea, I still am making money, but there's a lot of people who are not making money, and there's a lot of teachers or foreigners in general that are here and who are just stuck in quarantine, unpaid, and just sit at home trying to hide out from the virus because some of them don't have access to the news, although the government is working very hard to translate a lot of this news, but they don't have access to a lot of news as quickly and easily as people who speak Korean like myself. No, they're just out of work right now, staying at home, going stir crazy and getting cabin fever.
Personally, I'm loving my vacation away from work.
It's not mandatory, but it's highly being observed and highly recommended that people stay at home and people wear masks. I will be doing a video about the types of masks that people own that you can wear. Personally, I wear this cloth mask. It's thicker, it's much more comfortable, it's definitely warmer as well, and I feel like if you just clean it every day, which I do, you have a higher chance of preventing bacterial infection. And the quarantine is being thoroughly exercised. There are people that are receiving free treatment. Coronavirus treatment is free. To get tested and to find out if you have the coronavirus, it is free. So you can go to the doctors, no matter who you are, no matter what your legal status or citizenship or visa type, you can go and they will gladly do a test on you and make sure you are safe and probably give you some sort of prescription for you to be safe. And they are highly exercising quarantine. So there's separate places where if you think you might have the disease, where you can go, and if you're showing no symptoms, you can get tested and just make sure you're okay without being exposed to other people with the virus. If you're just sick in general and have to be in the the hospital, there's separate wings where they're sending people to get tested for regular health checkups without being exposed to the virus. And if you have the virus, you are in a separate quarantine for 14 days and being observed and monitored to make sure you're okay before being released back into the public and being put on a home quarantine, which I had experienced. There are many ways that Korea is observing this virus and trying to stay healthy. Like I said, masks are one of them, but frequent hand washing. We have Facebook advertisements, Twitter advertisements, local advertisements, signs in stores, and even just news and radio broadcasts consistently reminding us to wash our hands, not to touch our noses, our eyes, and our mouth, or anywhere really near our face. And if there are no bathrooms nearby, just use hand sanitizer or wet wipes. Like, I get messages every day on my phone about the coronavirus. It's just becoming insane. Like, we get a daily alert or warning at least like 12 times a day. It's seriously that much. It's no joke. And whenever someone has the virus or wherever it's been tested and the location has been found that these people have the virus, we get notified that this area has the virus. It's in many stores, especially places like restaurants or where it's meant to be very crowded, you will see signs everywhere in regards to the coronavirus immediately telling people to go wash their hands or to use the hand sanitization bottles that are located in front of the stores or even outside the stores. They're working hard to keep up with the cleanliness, and I appreciate that. There's a lot of places exercising self-quarantine, especially schools where personal hagwons or after-school programs are closing their doors and not allowing students to gather from across different cities. And even some schools are just taking breaks and monitoring their students and their cities to see whether or not they can start functioning properly again. Now, Korea and the government as a whole has been quite transparent with all of the citizens. Like, I don't feel personally scared while I'm here. I know that the virus could easily be contracted and outside it's dangerous. However, I still go outside and I still shop for things sometimes. I still go out to eat. I travel to here and there. However, I do not go to Seoul. I definitely do not go to Daegu. And I don't go to anywhere that has infection location tags. So the government has been very clear in the sense that every day we get news reports that we can watch and see, so we know where exactly the virus has been spreading, people that have the virus and the numerical amount. We also see like kind of a map of how the virus is even spreading, and we get updated consistent news about the number of suspected cases and confirmed cases and deaths in Korea regularly. There's also been some good news recently about recovery cases where over 24 people have recovered from the virus. However, one person did contract the virus again and get sick, which also instilled some fear in the people to make them believe that there's no permanent cure as of yet. However, there are no cures for the flu, and that's why each year scientists are working hard to develop vaccines that you should take regularly if you choose to do so in order to prevent future development of these sort of viruses. Now, I appreciate Korea's transparency 100%. I think because of the government's consistency to continue cleansing our cities, because there's trucks going by that are spraying chemical fumes in the air, not like a lot, but just some filtration fumes to cleanse the air and to bring down any airborne disease. They're spraying the streets, they've sprayed down facilities as well. They've even fumigated and sanitized by spraying down highly condensed places that have large amounts of people living there or traveling back and forth through there. Transportation hubs are being sanitized and wiped and cleansed regularly as well. I see live videos on the internet and I see it happening in person, and I appreciate it. I think the fact that the government sends us these updates every day, they're alarming, but it's necessary to know. We know everything that's going on. And instead of getting false numbers, they're giving us dramatic high amounts of numbers because they want us to know this is the truth. The virus has spread to this amount of people. The virus can spread to this amount of people. And since our country is so small and condensed, we technically have a higher percentage of the coronavirus in comparison to China, because China mainland has how many billions of people and only a couple 100,000 infected, and Korea only has a few million people with thousands of people being infected. The percentages are very high here in Korea, and with our country being so condensed and similarly congested like China, it's very easy for us to get sick. Now, in-house quarantines, what are those? An in-house quarantine is when you as a person decide to stay home for a certain number of days to just avoid the virus, check on your own symptoms, and to just make sure that you're not getting infected or getting other people infected around you. And usually when places pop up with information that someone was infected in their area, most people go on a home quarantine, or they are highly encouraged to go on a 14-day home quarantine. The home quarantines are effective, so we willingly stay home. When I went to Daegu, I was put on a home quarantine. My company had contacted me because they found out through the grapevine that I had traveled to Daegu at that time and I had just gotten back. I was only at work like for 1 day until I was approached and told to go home, leave the premises. I was not allowed to take the company shuttle. I was not allowed to interact with any other company coworkers or colleagues. I was also, sent home for about, it was like 10 days that I had to miss work. And then after that, eventually the company just closed its doors and allowed all of the people to go home. I think there's only just main managers currently working at the company right now, just keeping things afloat. But right now, a lot of the people at the companies are just sent home and we're on our quarantine. So I was put on that personal quarantine. And when I arrived back from Daegu, I went to the hospital to get my systems checked on. Imagine being in a place and immediately seeing that it's being infected and now quarantined, and you just came from there, like a whole trip from there. I went into the shopping mall. I've interacted with tons of people, even in the public transportation. It had me worrying like what could happen to me. I had to go through infrared heat scanning upon arriving back to Seoul. Then I was encouraged to go to the doctors and I had to go to the hospital to get checked and tested. And to make sure that I didn't have any symptoms of the coronavirus, I was being monitored and I had to stay at home for 14 days to monitor myself as well. And I was highly encouraged not to go outside for any reason other for something as means of survival or for a doctor's visit. So I went to the doctors and I got my test results. I'll tell you in my next video and I'll update you more about life with the coronavirus in Korea. So until next time, please stay up to date. Keep reading online and checking some of the links below so you can stay updated with what's going on inside Korea regarding the coronavirus, and wash your hands. Washing your hands is much more effective than just hand sanitizing all the time. 안녕! Bye bye!